Rodney McGavitt. Persuasive speech. The war in Iraq. The war in Iraq was something we needed to be in. Was we over there for too long? A lot of Americans believe that the war lasted too long. Americans felt that we are over there putting ourselves into something that we have no reason to. I feel that the war in Iraq was a justifiable one, and that was something that we needed. The war in Iraq has sparked an abundance of criticism since it started in March of 2003. As the months go on, more and more evidence is apparent to the general public as to why we have staked our stay in Iraq so long. Among the reasons is the fact that President George W. Bush said point blank that Americans was not into nation rebuilding. But it sure did seem as if that was the reason why we stayed in Iraq so long. Saddam Hussein was taken out of his position, where he caused such enormous threat to the United States and Iraq neighboring countries, and executed. Top key Al-Qaeda members have been either captured or killed, and the countries now have elected officials, and now progress in the country slowly advancing. Critics may say that the war in Iraq has not put the country in any better state than it was in, has made it worse in some cases, but that all is simply not true. Women and children now have the ability to get an education. Families are earning income now to better support their dependents, and residents are now getting the right to vote. Even before the United States invaded Iraq, for the welfare of the Iraqi people, bloodshed was seen all too often. As with any war of major conflict, time will only tell what it will come on of all the bloodshed. There is no telling whether or not a civil war may result from the United States pulling out of Iraq too soon. But if so, it is their battle to overcome. When the United States had their civil war between the North and the South in the 1800s, only the United States was involved, not other countries. We fought our battle on both sides, lost their lives defending what they felt to be true, and in the end, now we see that it was beneficial for American way of life. Some critics say that we are only still in Iraq for reasons that deal with the Iraqi oil industry. According to the interview that was conducted with chairman from Chevron Texaco, Iraqi supply has rapidly decreased in productivity. Under dictatorship of Saddam Hussein, billions of dollars worth of oil was being produced. Now only a few small percentage is being produced. Due to the blowing up of the oil fields, the United States is not benefiting from the oil industry as some might otherwise think. Upon examination of various debates that the current underway in Congress to withdraw troops, I feel that it is not feasible to pull out. A slow, lengthy withdrawal seems to be the best solution for the matter at hand. How Iraqis in general will react to the withdrawal process should be a top priority. By slowly withdrawing the troops, give the Iraqi time to adjust to a life that would not have the protection of United States Armed Force members around the corner. As the majority of them have been accustomed to over the past 4 years, now 13 years. There is no telling if violence will increase by the insurgents or decrease because of the American troops leaving the country. But the main reason for us invading has been resolved, and now we, our military, must clean up the best of their ability and withdraw in the most adjustable fashion as possible, so the Iraqis government can pick up with what has been taught to them and defend their country. Yes, there will be the flaws and uncertainties, but there has not been a single government in the history of civilization that hasn't been taken decades, sometimes centuries, to perfect. Even after years and years of medically correct, short shortcomings of the new founding government, there will still be flaws. No one is perfect, and only time will allow the room for growth and corrections. Why are we still in Iraq? There were many important reasons to topple Saddam, terrorists being one of them. The root causes of terrorism, I think, are the lack of capitalism, the lack of democracy, and course, the lack of modern education. What has stood in the way of those things had primarily been the regime of Iraq, Iran, and Syria. We only have at least one of them out of the way. Then we finally pulled out of Iraq and had more than 4,400 deaths and more than 3,200 casualties in it that were wounded in action. Then once we finally removed from Iraq, ISIS has started all the fight up again, and back at square one we are.